afternoon. Welcome to the news. I'm Siyoko Kwakuchre. There are reports of an imminent shutdown of the accident and emergency unit of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, CATH, due to a surge in COVID-19 infections among doctors at the unit's test. The medical director at CATH, Professor Bafo Kofi-Opoku, says dozens of doctors who tested positive for the virus are receiving treatment, but the situation is threatening services at the unit. Professor Opoku further says the hospital's COVID treatment centers have also seen rising numbers of patients, adding a surge among health workers, which threatens the fight against the virus. According to Professor Opoku, this surge is seriously affecting the staff of Konfanochi, whose policy is that once a staff, that is a doctor, nurse, or any other staff tests positive, the person is expected to stay off for 2 weeks. Professor Opoku added that the situation at the emergency unit is worrying since virtually all the doctors have tested positive and they are not coming to work. Professor Opoku said there are fears other units of the hospital will be overwhelmed if the public do not adhere to the safety protocols. Two new and superior quality tomato varieties have been introduced to farmers at Akumadan in the Ashanti region. CRI Krabnau and CRI Kopia are said to have superior qualities to the existing local and imported breeds in terms of maturity period, shelf life, and marketability. The Crops Research Institute, CRI, of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research developed the new tomato varieties and approved by the National Varietal Release and Registration Committee.
About a month ago, GBC News broadcasted a report on the Crops Research Institute's effort at breeding CRI Krabnau and CRI Kopia, new tomato varieties that are said to be high-yielding, early maturing, and have longer shelf life that compare favorably with local and Burkinabe varieties. This was in response to complaints by tomato importers, traders, and consumers who said the varieties currently on the market perish too quickly. The Crops Research Institute, CRI, of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, with support from the Korean Program on International Agriculture, COPIA, and the Government of Ghana, researched into the available varieties and developed new breeds. Upon its evaluation, the National Varietal Release and Registration Committee approved 2 out of the 3 new varieties, the CRI Krabnau and CRI Kopia, for upscaling and commercial production in Ghana. The research team visited the fields of some of the participating farmers in the research work at Akumadan in the Ashanti region, an area famous for tomato farming, to learn at first hand how the crops were doing. Some of the farmers shared their experiences.
And I come market as well. Yana, your turn in terms sing.
Na bano so a subebre ma hu sa subebre na the market so and no price no I was roasting in local tomatoes no.
Se dada no beti ntosi nnuama akoma akwo ha e na benya adaka we woti aduana numu a e wasa adaka yema.
The team, which included the Ashanti Regional Director of Agric, Reverend John Money, and the Director of the Crops Research Institute, Dr. Muchia, further interacted with more local tomato farmers to introduce their new varieties to them. A research scientist and tomato breeder with the CRI, Dr. Michael Osei, mentioned some of the qualities of the new tomato varieties.
It's early maturing. That is, it takes 55 days after planting to see it mature. 2, the yield is very high. We are recording 20 tons per hectare, which is twice or thrice what the farmers are getting. Our variety is tolerant to certain disease. More importantly, what we call tomato leaf blight.
The Korean ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Lim Jong-taik, explained that funding for the research work is in line with the objectives of COPIA to support Ghana's food security efforts.
Korea International Cooperation Agency. We are helping the Ghanaian government to get self-sufficiency in food.
When the certified seeds of the 2 new tomato varieties are eventually made available, farmers could increase their yield from the present 7.5 ton per hectare to 20 ton per hectare, which they say could increase their yields and improve their income.
Of the people of Choko, a suburb of Accra, to have a feel of Christmas with the less privileged. The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Afel Moni, and partners feted the less privileged at Choko with 3 square meals and other goodies to put smiles on their faces this Christmas.
Over 100 children and widows living in Choko benefited from the kind gesture of the president for the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Afel Moni, and the NGOs which helped in the project of feting the less privileged. The items presented included food, clothes, drinks, footwears, treated mosquito nets and baby wears for nursing mothers, and free medical screening for all. TNB Baba College was on hand to service them with free clean haircuts. The GJA president, Mr. Afel Moni, commended individuals and journalists who readily support the less privileged in our society when they are called upon. Member of Parliament for Ablekuma South, Mr. Okuvandepoy, thanked the GJA and NGOs for the gesture.
We are very grateful to all of you, and also for our local group, WOFA. What you are doing today sends a strong message of your commitment to improve the lives of our children and our people in Choko.
According to the president of Give Me Hope Foundation, Mr. Wisdom Dodwe, their aim is to provide the less privileged children with formal education and skills training. In all, 5 NGOs pooled resources to put smiles on the faces of the people. They include Ghana Journalists Association, AIM Ghana, Watch Your Tongue Foundation, Glimmer of Hope Foundation, and TNB Baba College.
The Methodist Youth Fellowship Accra Newtown Circuit at Nima in Accra has donated food items to underprivileged persons in society. The occasion, themed Touch a Widow, was organized to help spread love and put smiles on the faces of these people during this festive season.
The Touch a Widow initiative is organized every 2 years in December to put smiles on the faces of widows, widowers and the less privileged in the church and society. This is the 4th in a series of this kind gesture. The occasion commenced with joyous hymnals from the congregation. The first Vice President of the Methodist Youth Fellowship, Accra Newtown Circuit, Mr. Samuel Kwaju Ajay, touched on the essence of giving, especially to the underprivileged.
It's a biennial program. Every 2 years we come their way, we put smile on the faces of the widows, the widowers and the less privileged. It's something we know, it's not something much, it's something small to just make sure that we put smiles on the faces of the widows.
Items including hampers were donated to the participants. A beneficiary, Madame Rismond Agote, was grateful for the gesture.
Actually, I am happy because if you think about how the condition of living is, it is not easy even to buy kenke and fish and eat. So if the youth, they managed to present such a great thing to us, we appreciate it.
The organizers were grateful to all who have contributed to the program over the years to make it a success.
Children at the Mother of Mercy Babies Homes at Sirigu in the Kasina Nankana West District of the Upper East region have been blessed with some food items and non-food items from an NGO promoting maternal, adolescent and child health, Promac Foundation, in collaboration with Birthday Bliss.
But as you can see, the building is falling apart. So there's danger that it can collapse on the children when they are playing here.
The Mother of Mercy Babies Home began when a religious female congregation went to Sirigu to work. At the time, women were delivering their babies at home, and any time a woman died during childbirth, that child was seen as the cause of the death of the mother. In order to prevent the occurrences of more deaths, disaster, or calamity to the family, such babies were killed. This inhumane situation attracted the sympathy of some Reverend Sisters of the Catholic Church after they had chanced upon an infant about to be killed because the mother had died during delivery. The sisters then started the home with rescued infants. With the passage of time, the core inmates of the home changed from rescued children to abandoned children or children whose mothers lack the mental capacity to take care of them. At the moment, the Mother of Mercy Home has 17 children managed by 3 Reverend Sisters. However, the condition of the home, coupled with the essential needs of the home, is nothing to write home about. The orphanage, which was set up in 1984, is faced with numerous challenges including inadequate infrastructure, food items, toiletries, and staff. Co-founder of Promach Foundation, Mrs. Corazon Aquino Awolugutu, gave the rationale behind the gesture.
And today we are here because it is Christmas, or we are in the festive season. And then, as we all know, during this festive seasons, it is our responsibilities as corporate individuals in society to come and lighten up the faces of these young people.
The assistant in charge of the Mother of Mercy Babies Home, Reverend Sister Jacinta Zajinye, expressed her profound gratitude to Promach Foundation for the gesture.
It will go a long way to ease some of the burdens and the challenges we were meeting. Our children, for instance, we need a lot of fees, like the lactogens, the now one, foodstuffs, toiletries, detergents that we need to keep the place clean and to prevent infection going in the unit.
Some of these children could be left to fend for themselves on the streets, but for some, they are fortunate to find themselves being adopted by some foster homes or orphanages where they are given a taste of what an organized family life is. For these, they have a sense of belonging and a place to point to in the future as their humble beginnings. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting, Sirigu.
As Christians the world over celebrate the love of God, 2 institutions in the Ashanti and Central regions have extended a helping hand to persons with disability and other vulnerable groups in society. They urge churches and organizations to channel resources into ensuring the well-being of the vulnerable in society. The Love Assemblies of God Church in Dunkornofin donated assorted items to children of the Adulam Orphanage at Adansi Obuasi in the Obuasi municipality of the Ashanti region. The items donated are cartons of milk, mackerel, soaps, crates of eggs, bags of beans, beverages, and also an amount of 3,000 cedis. Receiving the items, the mother in charge of baby's room, Mrs. Janet Yeboah, appealed for assistance in the proper upbringing and development of the children. She explained that the orphanage has 58 children made up of 35 boys and 23 girls. Mrs. Yeboah said providing food and dresses for the children whose ages range between 0 and 15 is difficult. The district head pastor of Love Assemblies of God Church in Upper Dintra East, who is also the chairman for the Upper Dintra East branch of the Christian Council, Reverend Nicholas Ishan, who made the donation to the orphanage, advised the youth to shun any acts of violence during this Christmas festivities. Still in the spirit of giving, the founder and leader of the preacher movement in Dunkornofin in the Upper Dintra East municipality of the Central region, Evangelist Julius grandson Avifari, has urged churches to channel some resources to support the underprivileged and vulnerable people in the society. Evangelist Avifari said this when the church donated assorted items to the aged and persons with disability in the community. The church also organized free medical screening for more than 300 people in Dunkwa, Onofin. In an interview, the secretary of the Upper Dintra East Division of the Ghana Federation for the Disabled, Mr. Beneza Edwamwa, advised persons with disability to engage in businesses that will give them income to improve their standard of living and not solely depend on the district assembly common fund. The Ghana Police Service says over the years, communication of what it calls prophecies of harm, danger and death by some religious leaders have created tension and panic and put the lives of many people in the country in fear and danger. In a statement, the service has cautioned that under Ghanaian law, it is a crime for a person to publish or reproduce a statement, rumor or report which is likely to cause fear and alarm to the public or to disturb public peace where that person has no evidence to prove that the statement, rumor or report is true. The statement says it is also a crime for a person to knowingly send a communication that is false or misleading and likely to prejudice the efficiency of life-saving service or to endanger the safety of any person by means of electronic communications, and a person found guilty under these laws could be liable to a term of imprisonment of up to 5 years. The police service is therefore cautioning Ghanaians, especially religious groups and leaders, to be measured in their utterances, especially how they communicate prophecies that may injure the rights of others and the public interest. The service wishes to place on record that the police are not against prophecies and acknowledge that Ghanaians are religious people who know and believe in the centrality of God. And on the line with further explanations is the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Oben. Hello, sir. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us on GBC News Hour.
Good afternoon.
Superintendent, how do you classify prophecies that cause harm, fear, or danger? Well, how does the police classify that?
Thank you very much. And good for having me. First of all,
yes, sir, could you please position yourself well? We're having a feedback here.
Can I write?
Yes, this is better, please.
The subject we are discussing has everything to do with Ghana. There was a series about the Ghana criminal law, specifically 1960 Criminal Offences Act, Section 20, and its ramifications. So I recall that earlier this year, some persons were sent or put before court for committing similar offences. And around this time, because of the Christmas and New Year festival, there is going to be increased frequency of patronage, various worship centers, among others. It is natural that police take this opportunity to remind all Ghanaians regarding the issue of public causing fear and panic among others, so far as that particular law is concerned, so that our major stakeholders will not be caught in the net. It's around this time that some of these phenomena normally heard and seen. And it is natural that that we take this and Tracy take this opportunity to remind, to sensitize, to admonish and inform our clients, the general public, those who own police, those who made the very acts that we are talking about, that there is this rules of engagement that prohibits the use of prophecies to cause fear, panic, harm, and certain times that may even lead to fraudulent activities. And therefore, we stand to gain if the police administration will use this opportunity to inform all of us to be circumspect in the way and manner we sermonize, and then we evangelize and tell the everlasting gospel in order to win the hearts and minds of the faithful among others. So for us, we have done our bit, because in certain instances, others might say that, we were not aware. We should have informed us that a certain law exists. They have admonished and educated us. So if we have a very proactive police system or service that sees partnership in delivery of police services by way of engaging the community members in a way and manner that most of the things we do will not be shrouded in secrecy, but preempted for people to benefit from it, so that crimes will not be committed, laws will not be infracted upon, for police to trigger investigative processes of looking out for, detect, gather evidence with a view of charging persons to appropriate courts. And I think that in times like this,
questioning Ghanaians
it's rather be commended than to raise issues, because it is about criminal law which is likely to be committed, and the police is expected to arrest when such laws are infracted upon, and we take it upon ourselves in order to sensitize our clients, in order to be circumspect, to be aware, so that they will not be seen to be infracting on the law. Discussing the issue that borders on faith-based organizations in particular, whose onerous responsibility and mandate, according to the Great Commission, is to preach for increased compliance of existing laws, including the law that the God Himself has codified for us. Therefore, as much as the law that we have also so made will be adhered to, so that it will engender discipline among the general public.
All right. Thank you very much. And that is the Director Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Oben, the founder of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa, Rev Dr Krabnau Punfi, has urged church leaders to support efforts by the Ghana Police Service to respond to religious excesses and abuses of church members and others in the name of spiritual gifts. He explains that misleading theologies and religious abuses frustrate the Christian public and threaten religious harmony. Dr. Punfi, who charged the police service equally operate within the law without any semblance of religious persecution. We have Dr. Punfi on the phone lines for further discussions. Good afternoon, Doc, and thank you so much for your time. Hello, good afternoon, Doc. Well, we're trying to establish contact with Dr. Punfi to also speak to the directive by the police administration on prophecies. But we're having a little bit of problem, so let's move on to another story. When we get through to Doc, we'll just come for him. But the chiefs and people of Anglo Afia-Denyingba in the Keta municipality of the Volta region have reiterated their call on the government to fix the deplorable road network to open up the area for development. They lament about the current state, bad nature of the road, which they say is negatively affecting socio-economic livelihoods and the health of the people. The call was made at a debate of chiefs at Afia-Denyingba.
Anglo Afia-Denyingba in the Keta municipality in the Volta region forms part of the Anglo enclave and is predominantly a fishing and salt mining community. The bad state of road networks in the community is a worry to the residents, who say it is affecting their economic activities, as traders from other parts of the country and commercial drivers find it difficult to access the road to do business in the area. The Anglo Afia-Denyingba junction to Haveji stretch in particular is a major road that serves as the shortest route for vehicles traveling from Accra and Ho to Keta. However, after several appeals to have the deplorable road fixed, the concern of the people of Anglo Afia-Denyingba has not been addressed. Some citizens expressed their displeasure.
The road network of the town is very, very, very bad. Commuting from the junction to the town through to Keta, the potholes on the road is making it such that the haulage vehicles that ply the road to actually cut salt to other areas find it very difficult to come to the town. Usually when they are coming, they break down on the road and they prefer the N1 highway from Aferengba Junction through to Denu to Adina to go and cut salt from there. Meanwhile, we also have salt here.
This road will be very beneficial because it links Keta to Afia-Denyingba Junction, but as far as O, so it's the shortest route when you are coming from Keta to O. This is the shortest route. It will allow for market women to bring goods to our markets because of the bad nature of the road. Some drivers are just not interested in flying this route, and so it's making business on market days very difficult for us.
At a deba, the Dufia of Anglo Afia-Denyingba, Tagbi Kajahlu, said his people, who are mainly fishermen, fishmongers and salt miners, are struggling to make ends meet due to the poor nature of roads. He disclosed that the chiefs and people will be happy to see the commencement of the project next year. He encouraged some newly installed divisional chiefs and queen mothers of the traditional area to work towards the development of the area. The chiefs and queen mothers pledged to work with the people in the community and Anglo in general to foster unity.
Traders at the Accra Central Market are lamenting the hike in prices of foodstuffs this Christmas. GBC News brings you some of the concerns of the traders.
It is the general belief that markets women cash in on festive seasons by increasing the prices of goods. This Christmas season is no different, as both traders and consumers complain about how expensive goods are in the markets. On the streets of the central business district of Accra, traders were going about their brisk businesses with customers and consumers making some purchases. Tomatoes, a major vegetable in many Ghanaian delicacies, was scarce and expensive. Speaking to GBC News, a trader attributed this to restrictions on import from Burkina Faso and some other factors. Meanwhile, prices of other foodstuffs like onions, rice and oil have also shot up.
She thought you look money only 10 million. We buy about 5 million. We buy about 6 million. Well, price is said, do more could be. Nini be thing where market for lay, a jala was a fan. Like last year, or more, 5 by 5, energy 5 kilo, a whole 25 Ghana. She be an air, 40 Ghana.
Be an air, Kotoku, 89 million.
Some of the traders, however, advise the public not to always blame the government for the hikes in prices of goods, because some of them also inflate prices just to make extra money.
Well, now, as we know, the police administration has issued a statement cautioning Ghanaians, especially religious groups and leaders, to be measured in their utterances, especially how they communicate prophecies that may injure the rights of others and the public interest. We've now got on the line the founder of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa, Rev Dr Krabnau Punfi. We want to know his take on this decision by the police. Good afternoon, Doc, and thank you very much for joining News Hour. Reverend Krabnau Punfi, good afternoon. Well, obviously we haven't some technical issues. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News. We'll be back after this break.
There are strong women whose stories teach us perseverance, logic, decisiveness, and self-confidence. Being strong is not just about physical abilities, but also emotional, intellectual, and mental strength. Women's Voice is a platform to hear and share stories to encourage women and girls. Women are the real architects of society. It is they who provide the foundation of power, grace, wisdom, justice, creativity, and hope. Join us live every Monday at 4 p.m. on GBC News and GTV, Wednesdays live at 4 p.m. on GBC News, and a repeat on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on GBC News, and Sundays at 3 p.m. also on GBC News. Women's Voice. No one can make you inferior without your consent.
It's time for business. The Christmas season is mostly characterized with an uptick in shopping. This brings to the fore the work of dispatch riders who become indispensable, especially to online shoppers. One of such is Mr. Bismarck Isifu, With a monthly income of about 3,000 cedis, Bismarck says the amount is worth it as the job is a very risky one. In this report, Esther Aidiohumehu looks at the delivery business and the challenges dispatch riders face in bringing your food or the item you have ordered online to your doorstep, especially this Christmas season.
This is Bismarck Isifu, a dispatch rider. Bismarck got into the delivery business last September working as a dispatch rider for a restaurant. However, Bismarck now has his own motorbike and is working for himself. According to him, when working for the company, he used to earn 700 Ghana cedis a month. However, he now earns at least 100 cedis a day, which adds up to about 3,000 cedis a month. Bismarck says the job, although lucrative, is very dangerous as he almost lost his limb over 2 months ago due to an accident he had. According to him, most vehicle drivers do not have respect for motor riders as many knock them off the roads because they see them as a nuisance.
Accident the money is risky. Moto no ye chinese nam kuruma do ya drivers no cars no esi shesha ye ne drivers bi o mu moto fo no o fa ye nye hwe.
The drivers can knock you down on the road and abscond without care.
Problem. Two car bet me a ball. Not long ago, the mania accident, it's a risky, risky.
Bismarck, however, alluded to the fact that many motor riders do not obey traffic regulations, which usually leads to a lot of accidents.
Police for high one thing motor for no be brave and respect traffic light. Or do traffic light nasia I saw redness of jano. Pressure will be demanding to know for why they
The delivery guys should have their license and helmet when on the road.
So we know license, road rate, insurance, maybe a year Juma offer road no so. Tare so we know helmet. Only helmet there police heading on behalf. One thing no Panama police for hiring.
On-demand delivery or courier services seem to have gained traction in Ghana in the last decade. This has been linked by many to the spike in technological trends and the desire by many entrepreneurs to expand their businesses beyond the brick-and-mortar system. The availability of virtual selling platforms that showcase products and engage consumers have provided convenient click and collect services to consumers. Customers in the comfort of their homes now order for any item of choice and have it delivered at their convenience. GBC News spoke to some patrons of delivery services and they shared their experience.
They are useful in delivery of small items in the system, especially food. I can see they move from restaurant to offices and stuff. But of late, most of the accidents we witness on the streets are caused by them. Most of the accidents are caused by them. That's where the problem comes in, because they need to be trained. They need to be trained well before they give them the bikes and stuff.
With these delivery things, the things are not actually good, or let's say, up to the kind of expectations now. I don't know who say your quality because wakocha baby and done some filters, but it's not exactly what you want. And some of the things can be open them. There's no address to trace and say that
it's something we should embrace as Ghanaians because it's coming to stay with us. So I think we should rather improve it, with the app on mobile phones and stuff like that. I think that is even better when we embrace it that way. I think it's okay. It's just that sometimes, they have to be careful, using the roads and stuff like that. They have to respect this traffic lights and stuff, Most of them don't respect them.
I actually do it with the food always, so per what I've seen, I've not seen any negative aspect of them. But online, I see people kind of, with the clothes they order, you see what I ordered versus what I had. So with that, I think that's the negative aspect because you don't get to meet the people doing the thing. So I think that's the negative aspect.
With an income of about 3,000 cedis a month, one would have thought that Bismarck would see the business as one to do for a long time. However, he says per his vision, he would cease to be a dispatch rider in 2022. According to him, it is too dangerous a work to do and would prefer running his own business where he can employ others to earn a living.
Esther Edu Ohumewu, GBC News, Accra.
By the first quarter of 2022, the Ghana Association of Bankers would have armored bullion vans for cash-in-transit CIT operations in the country. In an interview with GBC News, the president of the association, Mr. John Iwa, said the delays in the procurement process has been due to the need to meet the specifications the central bank gave commercial banks on the type of bullion vans to be manufactured for the industry.
Yeah, you know, we made the point when the deadline was given, and we made the point that procuring armored vehicles is not an exercise as like procuring a Toyota Corolla by the streets. You know, it's a security apparatus. And to that extent, we've been working with the Interior Ministry, the Ghana Police Service, and National Security Ministry. And one or two companies have received what we call the no objection certificate to be able to bring in the armor. But it takes time. You need to place the order. They have to manufacture to your standard, because Bank of Ghana has given the banking industry specifications about the standards that they want, the vehicles that we want to use for cash movement. So we are in the middle of it. I'm sure by the end of first quarter, you will see a few of them on our streets.
The founder of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa, Rev Dr Krabnau Punfi, has urged church leaders to support efforts by the Ghana Police Service to respond to religious excesses and abuses of the church members and others in the name of spiritual gift. He's on the line to share his thoughts with us. Good afternoon, Reverend, and thank you very much for joining News Hour. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Reverend, if you can hear me, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us on News Hour. Well, it seems not to get through to Reverend Oponi. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News. We'll be back with more stories.
Hey, mommy, I have been some new Jumewa.
Oh, yes. Great job. Great reward.
Do you know about 6 people lose their lives daily in road accidents and a lot of them are passengers?
It is not my portion. Those people, their prayers are not strong.
What would you do now if there is a road crash?
I would just grab the seat and shout, Jesus.
Do you feel good about yourself?
Papa. Wow, she said the uncle for paying. Papa driver. Tiaso.
Mommy, are you sure you're not the devil?
Make you not do Abonsamejuma. Stay alive. This Stay Alive campaign is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
Go away from me.